What's going on, people, and welcome to my match preview for tomorrow's game, the Manchester derby, Man City versus Manchester United. I don't feel optimistic about it. I wouldn't be surprised if we could win or snatch a draw, but I think the most logical outcome is a City win. But I'd be happy taking the draw, to be honest, on current things that are going on and form and just the situation of the difference between the two clubs. Anything can happen in a derby. So, as I said, if we win, it wouldn't hugely shock me. We've got a pretty good record over City in the last few years, and so it would not surprise me tomorrow if we could win. But again, I don't think it favours us this particular time. As for my lineup, I'd go with De Gea in goal. I'd actually go with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, even though I prefer Dalot because of the defensive side of it. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is a better defender than Dalot. So for defensive reasons, I would put Aaron Wan-Bissaka in ahead of Dalot tomorrow. Then I'd go with Varane and Lindelof at centre-backs. We know Maguire will play, but I would go with Varane and Lindelof. Telles at left-back for sure. I think Shaw will also play tomorrow as well, but I would go with Telles. And then I'd go with Fred and Pogba in the midfield. But we know McTominay will play and most likely Fred will. But for me, Fred is the better of the two. I think they're both pretty poor, to be honest. But I prefer Fred a little bit more than McTominay, and I think he offers a little bit more, just all round the pitch. So I'd go with Fred, partner him with Pogba. Pogba needs to show up tomorrow if he does play, because I feel like he's gone missing a lot recently in games when we needed him. And as one of the leaders and influencers in that dressing room, I think he goes missing a lot. So for me, regardless of what his status is with the club and if he's going to be leaving, he needs to be performing, and he hasn't been recently. But I would still rather Pogba with either Fred or McTominay than Fred and McTominay without Pogba in the midfield. I'd go Fred and Pogba. Sancho on the right for me. Bruno at 10, who really needs to have another... He's another one similar to Pogba, Bruno, that needs to have a good game tomorrow. He's been woeful this season. In the recent game, he could have had a hat-trick and he was terrible. He needs to have a good game, probably as arguably, if not more than Pogba does. Maybe someone else should get a chance in that position, but no one. He never seems to get dropped, Bruno, so I expect him to start and I would probably go with him as well. But you could argue he doesn't deserve it. I wouldn't be mad at that, but I would put him in. Elanga on the left, doing very well for us, I think. He gets a lot of criticism, which I don't think is always justified. He's still very young, and I think he's one of our best performers. Hence why Ranić said the other week that the players need to be taking more, looking at him more as an inspiration and as an example of what the rest of the squad should be like. And he's exactly right. And I think if Rashford starts tomorrow, which I wouldn't be surprised if he does, Sancho and Elanga for me shouldn't be dropped, either of them. But one of them will be, so we can accommodate for Rashford playing. I know Rashford will start tomorrow, and it's going to drive me insane. So I don't think Rashford deserves to be anywhere near the team. And he hasn't done longer than Bruno and Pogba for me, Rashford. For years now, he's not been good enough for me. But I expect him to start tomorrow, I really do, because they seem to pick these players, even though it's very obvious to us fans that certain players aren't good enough. And Rashford's one of them, but I guarantee you he'll start the game tomorrow. And then up top, I would go with Ronaldo. We don't have any backups. Cavani's still not available. Martial's obviously not here. The Greenwood situation, unless we bring a youth striker in, we've got no backup as a natural striker for Ronaldo. I've said it in previous videos, if Ronaldo gets injured or he needs to rest, he can't, because there's no one else there to fill that position unless they play Bruno up there as a false 9 or something. So look, I don't think we'll get any other options unless you drop Ronaldo tomorrow and go with a false 9, which I've heard other people saying, but I don't necessarily agree with. You can't be paying these players these amount of wages and not be getting them into the team. So for me, I would go with Ronaldo tomorrow. He's not getting the service lately, but there has been times recently as well where he has had the service and he's been terrible. So there's a lot. I think Pogba, Ronaldo and Bruno really need to have a good game tomorrow, because they're some of the worst to be held responsible over the last few months of the performances on an individual level, but also as a team as well, because it then affects the rest of the squad. And I think them three specifically need a massive game, and Rashford if he starts, which I think he will. So 4 really for me. That well, 5 if you include Maguire. So that's literally nearly half of your team that you need to perform at an expected level that you expect from them. Not a fucking world-class level, or other than maybe Ronaldo. But even now, he's getting on, and I still think he's got it, Ronaldo. He's just not showing it at the moment. But we're not even asking them to be Messi-like, or Maradona, or Zidane. We're just asking them to be what we expect and what we know that they can do, but they don't show it enough. Whether they or not they will do it tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me, because they seem to show up for these derby games more. But we need to be putting in them performances throughout the season more consistently against just smaller teams. I don't like it that players are just motivated by bigger teams all the time. And derby games, you should be motivated every game as a professional footballer. You're living the dream. So they need to be going out there and living the dream, and not acting like spoilt brats, which I think a lot of our players do. I don't think that'll change, but we can only hope. Prediction for tomorrow, I'm going to go 2-0 Man City. As I said, I could see us drawing or even winning, but it's going to be very hard, and I think how City are going at the moment, they'll get the 3 points. I think it'll either be a 1 or a 2-0, but I'm going to go for 2-0. I just don't think we've got enough. I think we make too many mistakes, especially if Maguire starts. Rashford doesn't track back enough for me when he plays, and Pogba doesn't track back enough for me either. Even though I think he's our best midfielder when he's on form, he doesn't put the work rate in that a lot of us want and expect. And that should just be required as a standard. But the standards have slipped, and they've gone down in like a landslide. So if we can get a result tomorrow, it's good. But then we've done this before over the years, and then we slip up against a Burnley or someone. So we need to show that consistency going forward. But this club is in a terrible mess. It's like Tasmanian Devils come through and just span it all up, and no one knows where they are or what they're doing. So yeah, that's my thoughts. I'm going to go 2-0 Man City tomorrow. Hope that we can get something from the game, but then we need to show consistency. So let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. There's a lot of football today as well. There's a game going at the moment, Leicester-Leeds. That was a 12:30 kickoff, and then we've got a load of 3 o'clock ones, and then at 5:30, I believe, Liverpool playing West Ham on Sky, if you're interested in that. And then obviously the Manchester derby tomorrow, which I will be tuning into, and hoping we can get something from it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys, and how your team, or who your team's playing today, and how you fancy your chances, if you do, or tomorrow. And remember, 2,000 subscribers by the 1st of June. I can only do it with your guys' help. Let's do it before that as well. Let's achieve this. Appreciate everyone supporting. Make sure your notifications are switched on. Share the videos to your friends. Get them to subscribe, and come and join me on the journey on the road to 2,000 subscribers. We got 200 to go. Let's go. We'll see you guys soon.